right, welcome back, Sports Talk Nation. Once again, is your host, the G-Man, as we continue our 2016 NFL Draft review on a team-by-team basis. Today, we're going to talk about those Redskins. Hail to the Redskins. Yes, I use the term Redskins. I'm not going to call them the team from Washington or anything silly like that. It probably is offensive, and frankly, I would like for them to change the name, but until then, the name is the name, and I'm going to call them by their name. All that said, I think Washington did well for themselves. Unfortunately for me, as an Eagles fan, I think that everyone in the NFC East did well for themselves in this draft. They were smart enough not to go after just heat-seeking missile for a need. They did fill the needs they needed to. They also got a couple of really, really good players a little later in the draft. So let's see how Washington did for themselves. Josh Doctson, he was all over the map leading into the draft. I heard him going as high as the top 8. I heard him as the 5th wide receiver after the Treadwells of the world. At the end of the day, he wound up being among that first group of receivers taken, right around that Will Fuller area, right around Treadwell, right around where he belongs, quite honestly. A little bit of a reach to me, but nothing crazy. I think he's a good player. I think he will help them put in the right system. I think he's a good complement to Deshaun Jackson, so I think he helps. Second round is where it really gets interesting. Second and third round, honestly, is where it gets really interesting for me. Suat Cravens from USC. He's already said he's going to wear number 36, which leads me to believe that my suspicions were correct. I think he's going to be a safety in the pros. I think he's a 225-pound outside linebacker. He could become a 218-pound safety who can run. I like Suat Cravens. I think he can help in that position. He can cover the tight end because he's used to playing with his hands from playing linebacker. I think he's a great add. The best pick of the draft for them was Kendall Fuller in the third round. I don't know how he lasted the third round as a cornerback. I thought there were a lot of teams that bypassed this guy, and they really could have taken a shot on him. I think he has a proven track record, played at a school that churns out cornerbacks, and was a ball hawk. I think he did a tremendous job, so I think that's Washington's best pick of the draft. So now they've gotten starting wide receiver, starting corner, starting safety. That's a hell of a start. They didn't have a fourth-round pick, and then, of course, I have a soft spot for their fifth-round pick. As a strong, proud Temple alum, they went with Matt Ioannidis, defensive tackle from Temple. Kind of surprising that he was the second Temple player off the board. The last of the three was Tyler Matakevich, who was the most storied and won the most awards, but Ioannidis can really play. He's not going to be a huge pass rusher. He's a little undersized. He plays with leverage, and he has strong-ass hands. I think he'll be a situational help, more of a rush defensive tackle. He might even be able to move out to the outside in a 3-4 defensive end. I don't think he's a starter, certainly not right away, but I do think he'll make the team. Another quarterback for Washington and Nate Sudfeld. I guess they need a backup now to Kirk Cousins since they've allowed RG3 to move on. Sudfeld had a really, really mixed career. He was hurt just a ton. Then sometimes he played for an offense that threw the ball every down. Sometimes he played for an offense that ran the ball every down. I think he's big. He has size. He has the strength of his arm. His accuracy is okay, but it's always such a transition when you move to the pros from an offense like that. No one knows what he's going to be. Seventh round, Stephen Daniels is an inside linebacker. Not much to say about him. Keith Marshall was an interesting pick. Marshall played at Georgia, and they are just running back university, right? Everyone thought Hurley was so great, and I said Nick Chubb's probably as good as Hurley or Gurley, and sure enough, Nick Chubb's an absolute animal. Keith Marshall never really got his chance to be a superstar, and he won't be a superstar with those skins either. But I do think he has a chance to carve out a role on special teams, third down back, help out a little bit. So I think they had a real good draft. You get value. You get 3 starters early, value late. That's a B-plus draft in my eyes. That potential steal certainly Fuller in the third round. A little bit of a reach on Josh Doctson, but nothing crazy. Overall, a B-plus draft. The Skins have to be happy after winning the division, not expected to come away with the draft haul like that. So with your 2016 team-by-team NFL draft review of the Washington Redskins, I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.